Yes, you can do overlock stitching on the Husqvarna Viking Onyx 30. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, and we're going through all the free video tutorials that will take you to mastering this machine. You know, if all you've been doing is sewing straight, we have a complete playlist in the description below for all the videos that we have done. And what we're going to do next is work with one of the included feet that is in conjunction with some of the overlock stitches. So if you don't have a serger, or maybe your serger is currently threaded with dark thread and you need something light colored and you only have to go a small distance, that you can just come to your sewing machine, put on the foot, get the project done, or get that side stitched and be on with the next step versus taking out your serger, changing it to the right color thread. And sometimes that just takes longer. So it's okay to do and use a sewing machine when you even own a serger. So knowing the right stitches that you can use. So the J foot is made very unique, that it is actually, you know, it's kind of only one toe, but if you look inside it, there's a little bit of a pin that is in the stitching area of where the stitch is going to be created. And so if you've ever just sewed with a regular presser foot down the edge, and we do overlock stitching so the edges stop unraveling, or you start washing it and then it comes loose in the wash. And what happens is if you just use a regular presser foot and you stitch so the stitch goes off the edge, this edge starts to curl. It kind of puckers. It doesn't lay flat, and then it doesn't look professional. So when you actually pick an overlock stitch, I'm going to use two different ones, and I'm going to do it on some cotton fabric, and I'm also going to switch over to a knit fabric and actually sew on some ribbing, like you might put on a t-shirt or on a cuff. So kind of showing some different ways of doing it. When you pick, for example, stitch 8 in menu 1, there's that J foot. Remember, always keep an eye on the machine. It tells you which foot you can use. And I love that it gets me into a range of settings for both the width and the length for that particular stitch. I can always make it a little longer, a little wider. And on our stitch guide, we have the option in the third technique, overcasting and seaming. What I'm going to do on that knit piece of fabric on the second run here, we can follow this and actually use the stitch it recommends and then the settings. So we're going to do that as well. So let's go ahead and switch over to the J foot. I want to show you how you guide the fabric. And if you've never used this foot before, what you want to do is a quick little practice. I always have my students like kind of figure out where they're going to stitch along the edge here so you can get the right results. If you stitch too far in and the stitch just comes like almost to the edge but doesn't go off the edge, well, it kind of defeats the purpose. It's got to unravel until it gets to the stitch, and now you still got the strings to deal with. So what you want to do is kind of guide the fabric even with the toe, because that's where that little pin is. So you can do this on a single layer of fabric. You can do it doubled after it's been sewn. You can even do it, so in other words, you can do it before you sew your pieces together and just overlock all the edges. You could do it after you've sewed the seam, and do it as a unit. It doesn't allow for your fabrics to kind of be pressed open, as some garments are going to need to be done, but it does do the trick. So if it's like a pillowcase and you just sewed it real quick and you went, oh shoot, I should have overlock those edges, just go ahead and kind of put them together and then do one of these stitches that is considered an overlock stitch all the way around, and it's going to be great. So then when you wash it, those strings don't come loose. So you do have to do this even when you buy yardage. If you are one to wash your fabric before you start sewing it, so a little bit more garment sewing versus like quilters. But what we can do is when you buy it off a bolt, okay, so if you bought 2 yards, The two ends that were the cut ends, so the one that was originally cut from the last person and the one that was cut for when they cut your yardage, those two ends are going to be unraveling. So all you have to do before you wash it is run one of these seams down those two cut ends. You don't have to do the long ones. Those are salvage edges, and they are not going to unravel in the wash. So if you don't cut those off before you wash it, just let them be, and then you can cut them off later. So here's how it's going to look. I'm going to just turn the machine hand wheel just to let you see how the stitch is going to go. It's going to stitch there, and then it's going to jump over that pin. That's the part that's going to stabilize the edge so it doesn't curl. So when you go to guide it, what you're doing is just guiding the raw edge even with the pin, and the stitch will just do the rest. So I'm going to do this stitch, and then there's another stitch that is on our menu 2, stitch number 3 or 4. Either one of those will kind of do the trick. We can start with 3, and then we can also go to 4 and see which one you actually like. Both those stitches require the J overlock foot, so you know that you're doing an overlock stitch. So here's stitch 3. And here is stitch 4. So stitch 4 kind of comes straight across where the first one actually does a little angled. Now, when you go to cut this, sometimes your last stitch is still stuck on that pin. Sometimes you need to go straight out the back before you can get it unhooked from the machine. So here this is a little bit more angled, but all in all, the goal is that this edge is nice and flat, and the edges are no longer going to be unravelly when we handle them or wash it. So as I move to a stretchy fabric, we'll follow the column under the symbol for the stretch fabric here, and we're doing an overcast and seam. So when we look, we're in menu 2, stitch number 3, so the first one that we actually did. And then our next one, we see that we're putting foot J on. Our tension between 3 and 5, and so that's the picture for tension, so that's what that number is. Stitch width is 6 and stitch length is 1. And that's exactly the defaults for this stitch, so I'm really not having to change anything, but it does remind me which stitch would be appropriate for stretchy fabric. People are always amazed when I have them do this in class. I'm taking some ribbing and folding it long and skinny, putting the raw edges together. Then flip this over so the raw edges can be lined up with the curve. And then because this stitch not only jumps over to cover the edge, it also creates a seam over here on the left-hand side. So as we stitch, we can gently pull on the ribbing if it needs to kind of be pulled as we go. And then you're just going to kind of bring the raw edges together right in front of the foot or that little pin. So I can still see it kind of jumping over the pin as I go. Now, if this is new for you, this might take a little practice. And I'm just kind of going nice and slow so I can kind of keep the curves coming together when the machine and as the machine is stitching. Okay, that will give us enough, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the machine and just cut. And so we can see that difference. Here's where that stitch might be caught, so go straight out the back. And we have an overcast look and a seam that is stretchy. And that's why that was the perfect stitch for this stretch fabric. So if you're ready to do some professional looking overlock stitches, you have a foot in the machine that is ideal. Make sure you're picking that foot for the fabric as well as for the stitch that you're creating. You'll find in the description below, you'll find links to some of our favorite threads, needles, and a link to all the other videos that we have created for the Husqvarna Viking Onyx 30. Remember to click like if this video was helpful and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can keep making more content on more machines.